Hey guys, it's Chris Wong. I'm filming this video as of June 29th, 2025, and I just thought about talking about a beginner type portfolio that I just came up with if I were to start investing today. So as a disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just a guy interested in building a portfolio. So my style of investing is investing for monthly or weekly dividend paying ETFs, as I like the income style investing. I got the idea from watching passive income investing and other YouTubers like Unconventional Wealth Ideas and Entrepreneur Investor or Wida Kamirs when they were posting videos before. So I was a beginner. I would say the biggest mistake is waiting until you save your money first before you start investing. But it is important to save your money just so you can actually buy investments. But I think it's also important to just start investing. Even $50, $100, even if you just buy one share, it's important to just get started. So the ETFs I have in mind for a beginner portfolio, most of them are just based on the S&P 500 or the NASDAQ 100. And I do think it's important to actually have higher dividend yields for the income, because as a beginner, if you see very low dividend yields, or even like similar to like opening a bank account and you have a very low interest rate, it's not really motivating to continue investing if you're only getting like pennies as your dividend. So I decided to just pick the higher yield ones and ones that are safer, ones I can hold on for the rest of my life. So the first ETF I would pick is HYLD by Hamilton ETFs. So that's around a 12% dividend yield depending on the share price, and that's based on all their ETFs and heavily focused on US based ones that almost resembles the S&P 500. The second ETF I have in mind is USCL by Global X, which is another S&P 500 ETF that pays monthly dividends. And the dividend yield is around the same as HYLD. It's around 12-13%. The third ETF I would pick is HHIS by Harvest Portfolios. It is their high income shares line. HHIS has the highest dividend yield out of the selection I have for this beginner type portfolio. The dividend yield is around 25%, and it's focused on the top companies of the NASDAQ and has other companies like Coinbase and MicroStrategy and even Eli Lilly. The other companies that are on this are on the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100, and they are part of the Magnificent Seven. So they would include Microsoft, Apple, Tesla, Nvidia. For a beginner portfolio, I probably would consider HHIS as one I would heavily focus on, because the high yield dividends, I think, is what people look for this type of investing. They want to try to maximize their income while trying to minimize how much money you need to put in to hold on to your investments. The next ETF I would consider holding for a beginner portfolio is QQQY by Evolve ETFs, which is based on 40 technology companies, and these ones are also on the NASDAQ 100. The dividend yield is around like 15%. It used to be much lower when the ETF first came out, and then after it was out for several months, it started to increase their dividend yield to like 15%. There are many other ETFs I could have selected for a beginner portfolio, but I decided to start off with these four and decided to pick one from each ETF provider. So one from Hamilton ETFs, one from Global X, one from Harvest Portfolios, and one from Evolve ETFs. That way it's diversified portfolio that covers the indexes, and it's also diversified across 4 different ETF providers. Mindset for beginners is it's very hard to get started, and I've actually talked to other people who know nothing about investing, or people who are even scared to start investing because people are afraid to lose money. People are afraid that they cannot access their money. But I picked these ones because of the index base, and it's impossible for the index based ones to go to zero, because for the index ones to go to zero, every company on the index has to go to zero. And the Magnificent Seven, which includes Microsoft, Apple, Nvidia, Amazon, Tesla. I don't picture any of these companies failing anytime soon. And I know they make a large part of the S&P 500 and the NASDAQ 100. And if a company fails on an index, then the index will just add a new company anyways. And beginners can get started anytime. It doesn't matter whether the market is up or whether the market is down. It's actually the habit to get started for investing. It's the habit of trying to add money every time you get paid from work. So even if you can add $50, $100 every single paycheck, just buy one share of each until it adds up to like whatever money you contributed. And you do this every 2 weeks, assuming you get paid every 2 weeks. And you do this for a very long time. And then when you get to a stage where your dividends start paying enough so you can buy even more shares, then your investments will continue to grow. Your dividend income will get bigger over time. So no good investment strategy is to get rich quickly. And most people who start investing start with almost nothing. And even I started with almost nothing as well. So here's an example. Let's say you spend $125 to buy 10 shares of HHIS, which is approximately $12.50 per share. And if the dividend per share is 25 cents each month, assuming it doesn't change in the future, then you're going to get 25 cents times 10 shares, which is $2.50 a month. And then you just use your dividends over time, plus your contributed income from work to buy more shares, and then your dividend income is going to go up. Anyone could be doing this. You could be a part-time employee working in a minimum wage job, and you can still be an investor. It just takes time to build up your portfolio in order to have dividend income that's enough to pay for some expenses. And if your dividend income becomes $20 working a part-time job, and then you use that $20 to treat yourself to a nice meal once in a while, then sure, go for it. It's progress. I hope you guys liked the video. If you liked the video, please give me a thumbs up. Otherwise, please subscribe to my channel for future videos. Thank you guys for watching.